Hey there, Heather Freeman here, and I teach women how to play with paint. And I'm popping in today because I thought I would share a fun ritual that I use in the mornings. And it's part of my morning ritual that I do to wake up, to get going, to kind of get that energy flowing between my creative voice and what shows up in my paintings. And so I thought I would get on here, and I don't know if you noticed, but I'm also putting a link in the description for a free download that'll help you along as we're doing this. I'm hoping to do this every day this week, and I'll see how it goes from there. But for every day this week, I want to pop in and do this ritual with you and invite you to do it along with me. And so this download will help you do that. And so it's a little freebie. This is a little freebie series, and then this goes along with it. And it's an idea generator for the morning ritual that I do, which is doodling. And I've kind of gotten out of sync with it. I've been busy doing a ton of things and still being creative, but got a little out of sync with doing my daily doodling. And so I thought this would be a great time to bring it back and to share that piece of the creative process with you. So thanks for joining me. If you're popping on, let me know where you're watching from. Hope your day is off to a great start. And this is, so doodling, I do it for probably about 10 to 15 minutes in the morning. And like I said, it's part of my morning ritual. So it's one piece of my morning ritual. And so if you don't mind passing this along, so if you know of somebody, or if you think of somebody that could benefit from watching this, please share this with them, pass it on to them. And so doodling, it's a great daily activity. It's kind of one of those practices that, when I was just starting out and I said, well, what do I need to do? What can I do to be more creative and to get painting? No matter who my teacher was, they're like, draw. Draw. And drawing felt intimidating. So doodling, it just sounds fun. And it is fun. And it's a way to really relax and let your brain go loose and to play. And hey, from Connecticut, hi Nancy. And so doodling helps spark that connection between your, when I talk about that creative fire, that comes from our heart. Like we feel we have that passion to create and to express ourselves. So, it starts in our heart, and then we make that connection to our brain, which says, okay, I've got all these ideas, all these awesome things I want to create and paint and get onto the canvas. How do I do that? Well, that happens when we strengthen that connection between our brain and our hand and whatever tool we're using. Hey, Sandra. Oh, today I'm breaking up. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I think, so we're in the middle of we just started our move today, and my husband just disconnected the internet, and so that might be part of the problem. And so I'm using my Verizon, and I don't always get the best connection. So, but we're going to go with it today, and I'll just spend a few minutes talking about this. But so we're doodling, and so you don't need an art degree to doodle. You can do it at any age, at any time. And so all it requires really is a free spirit and a couple of tools. And so the tools, I've got a sketchbook that I try to carry with me wherever I go. But when I do it in the morning, it's easy. It's one of the things that it's part of my morning. And you can use a pencil. This is just a regular everyday pencil. You could use a pen. The downside to a pencil is it can get smudgy and it can fade over time. You can use a pen. Again, you could possibly, like when you're drawing and kind of going over an area, it might smudge. Where if your hand is on the page, it could smudge. So that's the downside of that. Sharpies are great. You could use a Sharpie. It leaves a nice permanent mark. So you don't have to worry, like it stays put. If you, a lot of times I will end up going back into my doodles and adding some paint and playing along, kind of bumping it up a level and just taking it to the next step and painting them. So a Sharpie will work well for that. But one of my favorite things to use right now is a micron pen. So it's archival and blurring on and off here. Okay, bummer. I don't think there's a whole lot I can do about that right now. So we're gonna go with it. But this is a micron pen, and it's archival, and so it's permanent. So it's great for going over with paint later, and just playing around with the mark, and it doesn't smudge. So this is my favorite tool to use right now, but of course use whatever you have, whenever you have it. So like I said, a lot of times, I do this in the morning, but I like to doodle if I've got 5 minutes, when I'm picking up the kids and I'm waiting for them to get out of practice. I like to have something to do. I hate just sitting there, and sometimes it's nice to catch up on Facebook, but other times it's nice to get out the book and do some creating. And so, so use what you have. Sometimes I'm a little disorganized sometimes, and I don't always have the exact tools that I want when I want them. So I just got to use what I got. And sometimes that's a pencil or a pen versus my micron. So, and yeah, okay, so let's doodle. And today we're going to doodle some lines. So I'm going to shift you down, so hang on tight, and we'll get you situated. And I'm not going to do as much talking, so then you can watch what I'm doing. It should probably be better, considering the connection. Let's see. Get you in here. All right. A little bit of shadow going on. I'm not sure there's much I can do about that. There's some things. All right, we're gonna go with that. And so we're gonna doodle some lines. So yes, I'm gonna do this about 4 days this week, and I'll probably do it in the mornings just for, Oh, okay, you're still there. I had a phone call coming in and I couldn't get back to you. Let's see. For some reason, I thought I had that turned off. Okay, goodness. Well, it's expected to be crazy today, I think. So let's just start off with some lines. We can do a straight line, right? And I'm just using the whole page. If this feels too big, you could always come in and draw like a big square to work inside of, or like a big circle to work inside of, and just start doodling there if that feels more comfortable to you. But if you're cool with just going with the whole page, and we're just gonna, this is our playground. We're gonna use this whole space to just start drawing. And I'm drawing with my whole arm, and I'm just gonna do some straight lines. So maybe I play around with some lines that are tucked in together. And I'm just open to whatever kind of line wants to show up. So some straight lines, and maybe spacing them out like that. Maybe I do some shorter lines. Play around with that, and I can play with how tight they are together. And just play. I can play with the direction of the line. So maybe I'm going to put these at an angle. Maybe angle them this way. Maybe I will do a squiggly line. And I can play with how big that squiggle is, how tight it is, or maybe make it bigger. So again, I could just come up and do some like really tight squiggles and play with this rhythm here. And really, I'm working on sensing, like when I'm doing this, I'm sensing like what I'm feeling. Does it feel good? Am I enjoying this? Do I like the shape? Like, does that all feel good? And if it doesn't, then I'm going to try something else. And it's just an experiment. This is all an experiment in discovering like what I like to draw. And it's doodling, and you can't do it wrong. So maybe I'm going to do some bump outs, some fun little bumps. And it's not about perfection. It's about letting loose, playing, getting different, kind of just playing around. Like these don't have to be exactly the same size. It's all about playing and letting loose. Maybe I'm gonna layer this line up together. Do some bumps. Maybe I'm going to put together some lines. Connect the lines. And again, I could play with that. I could make those bigger. Or I could make those even smaller. We're just playing with the rhythm. We're playing with you get a different feel. Like this feel, like because these are wider and bigger, it feels more relaxed. The tighter these feel, there's like just a different energy. Maybe I will, let's see. Maybe I'll do like a pattern like this of connecting these two lines and creating them into a pattern like that. So really I'm just playing with different kinds of lines. Maybe I want to do a line like that. Really just take this page and use the whole page to just play around. And maybe, this line is going to be super thin. And maybe I just want to come back in and thicken this line up and see what that does. So it's easier to do this with a thicker pen, but to play around with thicknesses. But if you don't have a thicker pen, then you can go back in and darken it and kind of play around with how you shade it and how you thicken it up that way. Let's see. Maybe I play with just like a really loose line down the side. Turn it around. Flip this upside down. Maybe I'll play with maybe some lines going this way, up against lines going this way. And then maybe lines going this way. So I'm kind of starting to play with layering these lines in. But really using this page to explore and to play. Flip things around, get a different perspective. And I just want to keep playing, keep seeing where things want to go. And then maybe, look, I might come back in and maybe I'm going to add a line to that. See what that looks like, what that feels like. Maybe I'll add a line to these and here. Maybe I will, maybe I'll do like a little, still in here, do a little line like this, like a little squiggly. So really I'm just firing up that connection between my creative voice and my arm into my hand, into my mark making tool, which right now is my pen. kind of line in there. And the more I play, the more depth this is getting, right? Like this part right here, it's now got this squiggly line down here when I'm looking at it this way, and it's got this whole pattern like that's starting to layer up. But really, I just started out with some good old straight lines. And as I loosen up, then more starts to show up on my canvas, which right now is my sketch pad. So that's, I'm going to be doing this for about 10 to 15 minutes a day, and I'll be sharing it with you. There we go. On my Facebook page, so you can follow along. And where am I? Okay, there I am. And if I get more people watching and watching the replays, then I may go longer, but I'll be doing it for sure this week. And this is really, really my own part of my own creative process of creating daily and warming up to the day and letting loose so that I can see what's going to show up later on in my paintings. So thanks for joining me. And remember, you can go ahead and click that link and download your little doodle generator ideas. And if you want, you can print that out and cut them out and use them in a jar too. We're going to play along with that this week. So all you got to do is just, it'll ask you for your email, and then you'll get that sent to your inbox, and you can play along with me. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time at the canvas. All right, bye for now.